All right, awesome. So Natalie Hayes, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I've been following you on social media for quite a minute now and listening to your podcast. So I was talking to Mike and man, just really excited to talk to you and have you on.
Hey, thank you guys so much for having me. It's such an honor to be on your show and to get to talk to two awesome, like-minded individuals who are getting after it. So I really appreciate you guys giving me the time on the show.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So Mike and I were talking for the last couple of weeks, and people in the military have a very special place in our heart for for serving our country and doing the things that you do. So we've been kicking around the idea of like maybe having U.S. Veterans or people that are active in the military on our show like once or twice a month to give them the opportunity to tell their story. And I guess I mean it kind of fits perfectly. So I think we'd use you as our first person as our U.S. I don't know what we'd call it or anything like that. But
Yeah.
we definitely want to learn about you and all of the great things that you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, you kind of want to the military story. That's
Yeah, well,
you.
well, well I mean, I have a whole list of questions that we want to ask you, but first, you're a U.S. Army captain, correct? Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, I
how
am.
how long you been in the military, and where are you stationed at right now?
So right now I'm stationed in Wiesbaden, Germany. I've been I've been commissioned into the Army since 2013. So we're going on 8 years, I believe now.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so it's just flown by, to be honest. I commissioned by way of the ROTC program, which is the program you do while you're in college.
Right.
So even before I commissioned, I had 4 years of Army training. So it feels like 12 years. um, but yeah, I've been serving for 8 years, and it's been a crazy ride, but
Yeah.
here we
So
are.
so what made you? Do you have a family in the military? Is that why you joined, or what made you take that leap?
No, I really don't have any family in the that served in the military. So I guess that's not true. My grandpa served in the Navy for like 2 or 3 years,
Okay.
but I never knew that growing up. Like that wasn't something I ever thought about because he quickly got out and became a farmer. Um, but it was, and I never thought about joining the military as a kid. Like it was never something that was on my mind at all. But then it was just kind of like right time, right place, like destiny, like God type of thing.
Right.
Really like at my college orientation, I learned about, the Army, and there was kind of a booth there. It's like, and I saw that the opportunity that I could travel and that it would challenge me. I think like internally I knew it would challenge me,
Right.
and that's definitely paid off in those two aspects for sure. It's definitely challenged me and allowed me to travel. So yeah, I just kind of signed up right there and one foot in front of the other, and I've just like been going with it ever since. But no, I have no family really history of the military or anything.
That's
I just kind of fell into it, to be honest.
that's a huge commitment. So what's the time frame that you're looking? How much more do you want to give?
Ooh, yeah. So I've been thinking about this a lot because I'm at 8 years, which is kind of like a turning point. So if you do 20 years, you get your full retirement.
Mm,
Um, so it's kind of like at 8 to 10 years, you kind of make a decision if you're going to get out or if you're going to go the full. And I definitely see myself staying in the military for hopefully for 20 years. I'm in the process of trying to kind of like change my career a little bit, like I'm trying to rebranch.
okay.
So it will depend a lot on that. But either way, like I definitely see myself staying in the military for probably 20 years.
That's
Wow.
very awesome. So where else do you want? I guess you don't get to choose where you're stationed at, right? You don't really have a choice to that.
Yeah, so you don't, yeah, you usually don't. Most active duty um, officers enlisted, they get to kind of rank their choices and then branch or they kind of rank their top picks. And then there's a whole branch of the Army that helps, manage the talent and decides to send it, where to send it. So my situation is a little bit specific in that I'm not traditional active duty, actually.
Okay.
So I'm a reserve soldier, but I've been on active duty orders for like 3 or 4 years now. So although I've been like working full time and like kind of living the active duty lifestyle, I have a little bit more flexibility than a traditional active duty soldier would.
Okay.
That's kind of like one of the benefits of doing it this way, going reserve or National Guard. And then there's lots of active duty orders that those types of soldiers can hop on. I know that some people may not realize that, but there's a whole full-time side of that reserve component in the military too. So there's lots of options that people have.
Right. So I guess what made you choose the Army over the Navy or the Marines or anything like that?
I had no idea. It was what I saw. Seriously. Like the Army is just kind of like the first one that I saw and the first one that grabbed my attention. And truthfully, I'm glad I went with the Army because it's just so close to my heart now. And, of course I only have my perspective, but the Army is the biggest branch. So I think it brings the most opportunity. At least that's what I see and yeah, it's been really good to me for the duration, for most of my career has been like really great experiences. So I'm really glad I went Army. I would always advocate for, someone who's deciding to sway Army because I think you're going to get a lot of great experiences. But, there's something out there for everybody. But the Army, I'm glad that I chose it for sure.
Were you athletic in high school? Did you do the team sports and everything? So when you transitioned into the Army, boot camp, I'm sure was, I heard you talking in one of your podcasts that, people that are athletic in high school and even after, when they get to the Army, they think that they can handle it, but they can't. So what was your experience like?
So I was a runner in high school. So I'm a better athlete now than I was in high school. I was very mediocre, but I was in cross country and track, which I loved. I've always loved running, and that's if anything, that's like my family tradition is running. All my cousins and my sisters, we all did it together. We all kind of were in high school at the same time, so it was really more of like a social thing than anything. But no, I mean, joining the Army, it was definitely good that I had that base of just like athleticism and a little bit of cardio. But it's not to say that anybody can't pick that up once they decide to and just get themselves into shape. It doesn't take, years and years to get ready for basic training for sure. I've trained plenty of women to do it in a couple months. And it's definitely nothing that, anyone can't just set their mind to and train for. So, I loved sports growing up. And I even coached cross country a little bit after college. I've always loved that team atmosphere. And I think that is one thing that has driven me to the military because it has that atmosphere a little bit if you're in the right spots.
Yeah, definitely. So Mike and I run too a lot. So what were the distances that you ran in high school? So you were in cross country. Did you do marathons outside of school and things like that too?
Oh gosh, no. No, yeah. So when back in my day, it was just a 2.5 mile run for cross country. And then track, I would do like the mile, the 400, the 800. I really love the 400 and the 800. That was kind of my thing. But again, I was just really doing it for fun and to challenge myself. And then, in the Army, the run is the 2 mile. That's what you get timed on, is the 2 mile. So thankfully I've been racing the 2 mile my whole life. So, I mean, since I was a kid, since I was in middle school, I've been racing 2 miles in cross country. So, thankfully it's kind of like, for me, I feel like racing is a lot of muscle memory. Like I don't run like too much. I mean, maybe like once or twice a week I get out there and run now. Most of my training is weightlifting, but I still, it kind of like just comes back to me like that. As long as I stay, in shape, the like racing part, I think is, I just, I can easily like go back to that place that, to push myself. It's just like a lot of practice, I think. So,
right.
But yeah, no, so I wanted to run a marathon this year. Unfortunately, it got canceled. I was going to come to Austin, actually.
Oh, nice.
No way.
Yeah, to run the Austin Marathon. Yeah, I had like leave lined up and everything. But unfortunately it didn't work out this past year because of coronavirus. But yeah, maybe in the future I'll get out there and do something like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Germany is a very pretty place to run. I visited not too long ago. I think we went to Munich, and I was running all around there. I actually like to run a certain distance, and then I'll just run back because I didn't know where I was. I ended up getting lost. I ended up taking one turn. I was like, all right, I'm going to turn at this fire hydrant. And then I was like, okay, the dumpster, all right, this tree. And then it turned into, where the hell am I? And I had to ask some locals, I had my, hotel key. And I was like, hey, do you know where this hotel is? And luckily they spoke English and they helped me out. They showed me on their phone and like, you want to have a beer? And I was like, yeah, but I got to get back. It was raining, cold, but it's some pretty area around there to run.
Yeah, no, Germany is definitely beautiful. Yeah, no, it's a beautiful country. Being in Europe is a wonderful experience. Yeah, I feel really lucky to be here. But yeah, you were out here visiting.
Yeah, we went to Oktoberfest the year before it got canceled, so that was fun. We went. I mean, everywhere. It was great. We're looking to go back to Europe, but it's pretty stringent over there on travel. So I don't know if we're going to be able to go back anytime soon.
Yeah, now this isn't the year. Wasn't the year. Hopefully it'll get better later this year. This summer, I have hope. Yeah. We all have hope that it's going to open up a little bit this summer, but yeah, it's awesome. And especially during like Oktoberfest or the Christmas markets and everything. It's a great time.
What made you, so you're in the military, I imagine that takes a lot of your time, busy doing all kinds of hours of working. What made you want to start a podcast? Your podcast is very inspirational. So that's another commonality that we have between the three of us. And another reason why I wanted to reach out. I like your focus on helping people be inspirational and find the right way to become leaders in life. So what made you want to dabble in that?
Oh, thank you so much for the kind words. Oh man, I just have always wanted to build community. I think that's something that is just naturally in me. I think I got it from my grandmother. She's just the best at bringing people together and making everyone feel important, feel loved, and feel just like that they're wanted and they have a place here. And that's really inspiring to me. So, I think I've kind of always tried to do that, like with the people in front of me. But, we have this wonderful gift of social media that I've always used to kind of document my fitness journey. And I've been doing that for a long time. And fitness is a big passion of mine. But as I've gotten more experience in my military career, it's kind of like when I turned captain, which was about 2 years ago, I got promoted to captain, is when I kind of stepped into my leadership a little bit more and realized that I could do this for, I've had a lot of leadership training in my life. So I had 4 years of leadership training just in ROTC. That's just training. And then, the 8 years has been real life lessons and training all about leadership. I see it every day, like up and down, good examples and bad, of how to lead a team. I've been on wonderful teams that work so well, and I would like go to war with them tomorrow. And then I've been on teams where like the trust just isn't there, and things fall through the cracks and everything like that. And it applies to sports just as well. But the Army for me, sports, fitness, I see just a lot of parallels in leadership, what works and what doesn't, and also how that can apply to like your personal life, like how you're leading yourself through your life to be your best self. So that has just become a really big passion of mine, like through the years. That was more of like a slow burn. Like I always knew I was passionate about fitness, but I didn't really realize I was passionate about leadership until I just like really got that experience. So I thought, how can I help people, who might be like, how can I use my years of experience just to help people a few steps behind me, or even, a few steps ahead of me? Everyone's perspective is different. So I've been fortunate enough to have some wonderful leaders on and interview them, which I'm so grateful for. But yeah, I just think it's a really like magical thing to be able to bring a group of people together and facilitate trust and, just kind of like cohesion and just see it work. It's inspiring to me. So definitely. Yeah.
That's great. And that's a great accomplishment to become a captain already. Are you a young captain? We're not, we're not in the military, but is that young to be a captain?
No, it's average. Don't worry.
Oh, well, still props. It's a great accomplishment.
No, I mean, I'm like right on track. So it's nothing like spectacular that I got promoted to captain, but it's just, it's like, I have 8 more years of experience than I did when I was, 22 or 23, and it went by so fast. So, how I can spread the good word.
Yeah. It's interesting focusing on leadership. People that I communicate with that are out of the military, there's something that, whatever branch it is, either whether it's Army, Marines, whatever it is, whatever the learning leadership training that y'all get in the military, you could tell the difference between someone who's not in the military and versus someone who was, because they just carry themselves completely different. They walk different, they talk different, they expect different things from people than some Joe Smo who wasn't in the military, So I imagine these teachings that you're helping people, are just you're overall you're helping the community doing it. So
hey, thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, the military teaches, well, at least the Army, we have the Army values, and we try to hold ourselves to a high standard. I'm sure not everybody that comes out of our institution bears those, but of course, like we try to do our best. And I'm just trying to help the community by bringing the voices together. I'm just one voice, but the more voices we can get together to share their perspective, I think the better we'll be.
Wow.
So from an outsider looking in, you're a captain now, and you have a podcast. Has that affected you any way in the Army? Is it like a positive thing, a negative thing to kind of share things about the Army on a podcast?
Well, it's been negative.
It's been negative? Oh, no.
I think it's been positive. I think it's net positive for sure. Because I think if anything, it helps facilitate, questions or, like you said, just conversations about issues that people might not talk about in a work setting. Just another outlet to express yourselves and, just to talk about what someone may think is important to them. Right. So no, I haven't had any backlash about it. I also don't talk about anything that would be dangerous to talk about. Like I keep it pretty relevant to everyone across all branches. I try to keep it very just like leadership doctrine, that type of stuff. So like improving yourself, improving your fitness, just really telling stories. So I don't share anything that would, put anyone at risk. So
Gotcha.
I haven't had any backlash.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Have you had any fans come through and say, hey, I checked out your podcast? Have you had any of those experiences?
Well, so my friends and coworkers here now are they found it and now they're listening to it, and they'll come up and be like, yeah, we had your podcast on for like 2 hours while we were cleaning the other day. I'm like, what? But no, they're all really supportive. I'm sure you guys understand, like, if someone in my like day-to-day, like 9 to 5 or like army life is like listening to my podcast, I'm like, oh man, I don't know what I said there. But everyone's been really supportive. So anytime I can connect with someone that I meet, via Instagram or the podcast or whatever it may be, I just feel really just blessed and inspired, and that makes me glad that I do it, especially like the young leaders. So
Definitely.
Yeah, you never know who you're influencing, especially in a positive way. You share a lot about yourself on the podcast too. We've had people say like, well, I thought you thought about this because I heard you say it on the podcast, or like reference something we said, and we never said it to them directly. And it's
right.
like, oh man, you kind of know more than I thought about me. And I didn't know.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Don't listen to me.
It's funny too, because sometimes we'll find ourselves like, did we say that on the podcast, or were we talking to this person off the podcast? Like, was it before? So then it gets like murky, like, well, I don't know if I said that while the mic was on or not. So I don't know, but it's fun though. So
yeah, definitely.
The podcast is called Fit to Lead, and you started it in 2020, right? So at the peak of COVID, is that kind of why you started it, because you're being quarantined and you're kind of locked in?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was about almost a year ago now that I started it, and yeah, like I was quarantined. I didn't have a lot of quarantine time. I think, I was quarantined because I had contact with somebody who became positive for COVID, but otherwise, like, we didn't have much quarantine around here, but I had like 2 weeks of quarantine because of that contact. And, just like a podcast came out of it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Honestly, it's been wonderful though. And I truly still feel like I am a complete novice in the podcasting world. So I feel like it's still like just kind of getting going. And I'm just excited to see it grow. I would love to just continue to, have both solo and interview episodes, talking about fitness and leadership, just telling stories and, doing my best to inspire and to, just bring clarity to anybody that might be wondering about those things.
Yeah, definitely.
I've got to know. Are you vegan?
Uh-oh.
I'm not vegan. I'm vegetarian. I'll say I'm vegetarian.
I saw a couple of vegan meals you were making, and no announcement or anything. And I was trying to tell John, he didn't want to hear it. So I'm a vegan, and he's a meat eater. So I'm trying to get one on the team. So hopefully you say no. Yes, just say yes.
I was 9 vegan, but I know vegan is like I'm sure that I mess up sometimes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I wouldn't say like, oh, I'm vegan, because there are times when I slip up and everything. But I try to eat vegan most of the time. But sometimes I mess up.
That's
okay.
I mess up too. Don't worry. What's your hard thing to like stop? Is it cheese?
Oh yeah, I love. Oh my gosh! But actually, Germany has amazing, like vegan options. Like, there's amazing vegan options like in the grocery stores. Like, there's vegan cheese or like the vegan, meats or stuff like, all of that. There's a big selection. So, I've been lucky that I found a grocery store that I really like and has a lot of good options. I would say for me, it's it's like more ice cream for sure. But even then, like I just make a ice cream smoothie. Like there's always an option.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what it would be.
They're getting really good at vegan ice cream too. Like ridiculous.
Yeah.
I almost can't tell the difference. John could probably tell the difference,
Yeah,
but when we were in Germany, it was hard for us to like, we wanted to go out to eat a lot, and it was kind of hard for us to find vegan options. We would eat, I mean, it was just all sausage and like things like that. So it got to the point where we're eating nothing but pretzels and beer, and we were like in the car driving, we're like, we're gonna die. We're just eating pretzels and like, give me some. McDonald's has vegan options, which is weird because ours doesn't.
So their McDonald's has vegan, and they're like Burger King, like all of that has vegan. Like there's like a vegan Whopper, or actually it's vegetarian. I don't know if it's vegan, but it's vegetarian.
That's
for
something.
Sure.
What made you go vegetarian or vegan lifestyle? What was the driver for that?
So truthfully, I was inspired by one of my like close friends. And she just kind of was like leading by example, really. Like she didn't like tell me to do it at all. But she was just like living her vegan lifestyle and like feeling great and like doing great. And I was just kind of like, I should probably be, and then I kind of like looked into it, and it's like, why wouldn't I choose a vegan option if I could? Like why wouldn't I make the more sustainable choice if I could? Yeah. So that's just kind of how it started. And I mean, there's no judgment for anyone who chooses either lifestyle though, because I ate meat for like most of my life. This really just happened within the past year that I went, vegan and vegetarian. So, but it's easier than ever now. And like all of my friends, when we have like dinners and stuff, there's 2 of us that are vegetarian, so it's no issue at all. Yeah, so it's way less inconvenient than I thought it would be. It's really just like, like going out to eat. Sometimes there's not a good option. That's really the only time is like when you go out to eat.
So you've had quite a transformation. We've kind of talked about it just a little bit, but you started working out and now that kind of plays into your podcast and your posts. And tell us about that. That's a really good job. That's influential in itself.
Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's a big part of my story too. Is just the whole fitness aspect. And yeah, I'm just super passionate about it because it really just kind of, I think that coming into my fitness and also, being pushed out of my comfort zone in the Army, the mixture of the 2 things really just helped me really just like change as a person. I became more confident, just like more willing to learn, more willing to like make mistakes and take risks and things like that. So I guess that's another reason why I'm just really, really passionate about like, just spreading what I've learned.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I felt like I was kind of always like kind of uncomfortable, like always wanted to like lose weight growing up. And I would always, like run. I was just a big runner and didn't really like know how to eat healthy. Like I thought I was eating healthy, but I wasn't. So that's a big thing that I talk about in my posts is, I like just thought I was doing everything right. And I just needed to try harder. But that just wasn't it. Like I just wasn't doing the right things for me at least.
Right.
So, I kind of went through this big change in 2015 when I met my first trainer, and she just kind of like took me under her wing, and she helped me realize like how much food to eat for my goals and like the amount of protein I needed to be eating, and really just helped me like learn my way around the gym as far as like lifting weights and how much weightlifting versus cardio to do. So she's a remarkable person that like has forever changed my life. I was actually at an Army school in Arizona, Fort Huachuca, Arizona. And we just met at the gym one day. And then like after that, we worked out together every day for like 3 months. Wow. And it was wonderful. And so I just learned so much from her. And then when I left that school, I was just kind of like really bound and determined to not go backwards. So then I could see myself, like, once I kind of got out of that environment in Arizona, I was like really tempted to slip back into my old habits. So then I was like, no, I'm not doing this. So I hired a coach and signed up for a bodybuilding show.
Wow.
Because I was like, well, then I'll stay on track for sure if I have a bodybuilding show.
Well, that helps though, having a goal. That there should always be something you're striving for or working towards.
Yeah.
I like your post on Instagram because you post a lot about what you're eating and the kind of foods. I like your take on it because you say that, you know, carbs aren't bad for you. Sugar's not bad for you as long as it's in moderation. I think that Americans, we kind of go overboard a little bit where we can say, well, we're going to cut out all carbs or we're going to stop all sugar. But I think you're balancing it well and you're showing that you could be successful with a balanced diet.
Yeah, thank you. I've learned that the extremes go, and I've been guilty of this. Like, prepping for a bodybuilding show is choosing an extreme. And I've been there where I'm like, I've just, you kind of cling to it because it's like, I know you'll lose weight for sure if you cut out all carbs, but is it sustainable? So the extremes are easy, like just saying I'm going to go all in or just like screw it. But like the truth, as in many things in life, like lies in the middle. And, you know, actually, you know, having like portion control or like eating in a way that's sustainable for you, but also helps you get the like, you know, the fitness level that you want. That's the real work is like in the middle.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's really remarkable. You know, anybody that's trying to better themselves in fitness or any way, I respect you for even like trying and coming up to the plate. Like it can feel vulnerable to even try. So anyone who's out there trying anything, I applaud you, whether, you know, that is cutting out carbs or whatever. I just would advise you, if or when that doesn't work, to not give up and to like keep looking for a way that suits your lifestyle.
Yeah. I think, you know, that moderation and doing things in the middle, you know, I feel like if you're successful in that, you know, or if you're a person that works out consistently, 9 times out of 10, that person is just a better person in life and probably more successful than the other people. So fitness and diet, I think it's, it could be transcended beyond just fitness and diet. It's like overall life wellness. But I don't think people get that. I think you're doing a good job in explaining that, you know, if you do this, you're going to excel at other things outside of fitness and diet. So.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And I've seen it in myself, you know, which is a big reason why I just, you know, I love talking about it, because yeah, like just taking control or, you know, taking ownership of your fitness and diet can be so empowering. It's such a, you know, I think that you know, a lot of people think, oh, it has to suck. You know, you're going to be hungry all the time. You're going to be tired, but that wasn't my experience, you know? And I think that a lot of people find that, you know, when they start exercising or eating right, they, have so much more confidence. They feel so much more empowered, and it trickles into other areas of their life. So,
yeah, you know, one of our buddies that we work with, he shared a Snapchat story of me like a year ago or 2 years ago. And, it was before I started eating clean. You know, I thought that I was eating clean back then, kind of, you know, I would eat Whataburger but you know, I was like, oh, I'm not going to eat as many fries kind of thing, but I was still consuming a lot of food. But the picture that he shared, my face was just like fat. And I remember feeling like garbage all the time, you know, just feeling dragged down and weighed down, and my mind was just confused and fuzzy all the time. But now that I'm eating clean, I feel like I'm a better person to my friends and my family, you know? So it helps everything.
I 100% believe it. I 100% believe it. Yeah, what you put in your body can affect so much, even like how you're thinking or your energy and all of that. So yeah. I completely that.
So you have a side business too, right? So it's Natalie Transformations. So are you, or did I say it right? Natalie Hayes Transformations, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I have a personal training business as well.
Okay.
Yeah, has the same name. It's called Fit to Lead.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have my transformations on a page called Natalie Hayes Transformations. I need to update it. It's kind of an outdated.
Are you only focused on women, or are you expanding outside of that?
I've coached 90% women.
Okay.
I think I've coached like 2 guys in all the time. So I coached for like about 2 years, like 2018 to 2019, and then took a break, and I'm like starting to coach again now. This past year I've started to coach again, which has been a wonderful experience. I kind of like in 2020 like I kind of started this whole social media, with the podcast and Fit to Lead. Fit to Lead kind of came to life in 2020, and I'm so excited about it. But yeah, so I've coached about 50 people, I would say, and 2 of them have been guys. So I'm not like against it, but I think just my content speaks more to women, which totally makes sense, and so I just embrace it.
That's great.
Yeah.
How is kind of changing your life into this social media thing? Because it sounds like maybe you weren't as active before getting on in 2020.
Yeah.
So how is it? Is it taking over your life a little bit? Does it feel unhealthy being on social media so much? Different from before?
Let's see. I don't think it feels unhealthy. I think social media, if you use it right, I think most things in life really just like reveal you. Like, I don't think they really change you. Like, I always think that, money or power just reveals you. It doesn't really change you. It just gives you more visibility. And I think that's how I've kind of used social media, is that I love connecting with other people. Like, I love sharing my life. And I don't even really there's lots of parts of my life that I don't share. So it hasn't really, I wouldn't say it's taken over my life, because I do so much else like during the day. I would say I wish that I I guess sometimes it feels like that way during the week, but I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy connecting with people. Like, this is what I want to be doing. So, excuse me.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, no, I don't mind it. I've definitely, I have a virtual assistant who helps me with a lot of this stuff now.
That's what we need.
So I'm jealous.
I know. We need to get on that level.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff that I'm not good at, and I've just kind of embraced that, kind of making a lot of the graphics and things like that behind the scenes. She's able to help me with that type of stuff now. And, she edits the podcast 10 times faster than I ever would. So, learning to kind of do that has really helped. To outsource has helped me a lot with my work, social media life balance.
Yeah, definitely.
She's making me so jealous right now.
I know. Go ahead.
We do everything, man. We put the lights up, we set up everything, we edit our podcast. We do the video podcast, of course. And then he edits the video, and then also, the audio, but then also social media. It's not there yet. Like, it's pretty cumbersome to post on everything. So Facebook, and then Instagram, and then the stories of those, and sometimes they don't connect, or Facebook, you can't tag people like you do in Instagram. It's
a full-time job.
Yeah. And then making graphics, like you said, if you want to go that much further, it's like, when are you gonna have time to podcast?
Right. No, it can definitely take over your life. To anyone getting started, I would say just let it be imperfect. I even look back on podcast episodes I did earlier this year, and I was like, oh my gosh, I would change so much. Like, I would put it out so much differently. And I still consider myself a beginner. So, yeah, I just have had to learn how to like brace the imperfections, because it's never going to be perfect, you know? Same thing with like my biggest example would be my, like, just kind of posting my workouts on Instagram or like social media. For the longest time, even when I was like competing in bodybuilding, I would never do that, because I was like, oh, I don't like, this angle isn't good, or, you know, whatever. But in 2020, I was just like, I just don't care. Like, I just don't care. I'm just like showing my life. And if people don't like it, they don't have to watch. So I just kind of like decided that I'm just not going to care if it's not perfect. And it's when I like have grown the most and feel the most comfortable on social media now than I did before. So
yeah, you're taking a leap of faith by posting workout videos, especially being, you know, an attractive female on social media these days. You got two spectrums, right? You got the creepy ass guys that are going to be commenting nasty, vulgar things on you. And then you got the women that you got one side that will love you, and the other side, oh, she's just doing this for attention. How do you balance that? You know, I can imagine, you know, for us, when we post, it's just those two ugly ass dudes posting stuff on social media. Who cares about them?
One better than the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
I'm more attractive than you. But for you, I imagine, you know, I'm sure you've gotten better, but I imagine in the beginning, like you said, it's a whole leap of faith kind of act.
So my thing is I give myself, so if I'm in the gym and I'm recording my workout, I have a rule where I can only record something twice. So like I'll record it once, and if I don't like it, then I have one more set. So I always record like my second to last set, and then maybe my last set if I don't like it. But I can't keep doing it after that, because then I'll just be like, oh, I need this lighting or whatever. So, and I'm just like, nope, we're not doing that. So only 2 recordings. And then when I post it, you know, I just try to stay neutral about the comments. So I try to just think, you know, did I like feel like I shared a good workout for anyone who may be looking for one, and just focus on like, am I proud of myself? Not like, is Stussy Q like whoever. And I feel so like I try not to let the positive comments like boost me up, or the negative comments tear me down. And truthfully, I really don't get that many negative comments. I've gotten like, there haven't really been too many. I mean, there's been like a few here and there, but it's not something that like I think about daily, you know?
Yeah. That's a good mindset to have. Try not to. Do you read all the comments? Do you try not to read, or how do you manage that?
No, I try to read and like get back to everyone. It doesn't always happen, just because I'm a lot, you know, of course, like the Army takes up so much time. Sometimes I just have to like post it and go or whatever, but I try to like get back to everybody. So but no, it doesn't. What I am nervous about is reading my podcast reviews. I don't really read those, because that is like more personal, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, they've all been good. Like, they've been good, but I'm like afraid I'll get this one. I'm afraid I'm going to get one that's like, I know it's coming. Like, it's going to come, and I don't know how I'm going to handle it.
I think I'm just ready for it. I want it to happen.
Oh my God.
If you want it to happen, then it's not that bad.
Do you have any like tips for like, I don't know,
us?
I don't know.
Naysayers?
Oh no, we were hoping to get tips from you.
Trying to get some tips from you.
No, I think, I just think it's just, just trying to stay neutral. I think that's the game. It's just like, it's not about like what everyone else thinks, you know, but more just about like, do I feel like I gave my best effort? And that's kind of like how you evaluate how it's going.
Yeah.
There's definitely some sensitive topics nowadays. So when we come across someone that could possibly bring up those topics, we're like, what's our stance on this? So it gets a little complicated. So we haven't totally got into that just yet, but we're getting more into that with more guests, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, just to like always, like think critically through, how do I want to present myself? And, I always, before I started this podcast with you guys, I just remind myself, I'm just always tell the truth. I think that's just the best strategy. Is you're never going to get yourself into a pickle if you just, tell the real story. Just, be truthful.
Yeah. I think what's amazing too is, us as human beings, we're going to be constantly evolving. So, in a year from now, you're going to listen to your podcast that you did, this week, and you're like, who the hell was she? Like, what the hell? But that's good though. That's,
no idea what was coming.
Yeah, that's good though. That means if you don't do that, if you don't like look back and say, what the hell was I doing? That means you aren't growing. So I think, to your point, I think that's good.
Yeah, I definitely think that about myself a year ago, 2 years. My goodness, I definitely think that.
I think I was telling John, like when I speak to people at work too, I'm like, I feel like I speak better. Not any better, like vocabulary wise, but like my pauses, I wait for people to finish. I'm like, oh, interesting. And I'll I kind of treat it like I'm on the podcast. So that's one thing I've seen kind of affect me a little bit.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, that active listen, the listening skill. It's really useful, like throughout all of life, whether you're talking to a coworker or whoever. Just learning to like listen to someone else actively and like tell their story. It always makes someone feel good,
Yeah. So I want to hear how your first episode went. Was it cringy? Like ours was bad. Ours on video too, if you want to watch just awkwardness.
That's so funny. My first episode, so I just batch recorded like 3 episodes to launch the podcast with. I think it was something like how to stay. There was one on leadership, one on fitness, and like one talking about my story or something like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any podcast equipment. So no mic, nothing. So I took my freaking laptop, this laptop right here, and I just opened it to Audacity or whatever, the free editing software. Like nothing, I didn't pay for anything. And I sat over there in like my room, like with like I tried to get into a small space to eliminate echoing. And I just talked into my computer. Like there was besides the one on my computer. So I was just talking, and I felt so awkward. I was pausing like every 5 seconds. And it's only like 20 minutes long or something like that, because it was like just me in my first one. But yeah, it was, I feel, thinking back to that, hopefully I feel like I've come a long way since then. But yeah, they just, I just wanted to start. I just was like, wanted to start somewhere. And I did it. And I'm super glad I moved forward with it.
Yeah, definitely. So you're also part of BPN. So how did how did you become part of that team?
Yeah. So BPN is a supplement company, Bear Performance Nutrition, and it's veteran owned by Nick Bear, who's a fitness YouTuber. Yep. Primarily fitness, but so I had been watching Nick for the longest time. I don't even remember when I started, but it was like when I first started my fitness journey. So he's been in this space for a long time, and always was super inspired by him and the company he grew specifically. I know there's a lot of supplement companies out there, but none of them ever really like drew to me like BPN, just because of, I really think just the veteran, like he's a veteran obviously, and his mindset is just of service and, working as hard as you can. I mean, I don't know. A lot of supplement companies have a similar, not to talk about any other supplement companies, but I just was always drawn to him. And then just when that BPN ambassador search opened up, I just was like, well, of course, like, let me apply. And this was only last year. And I had I was kind of like in the middle of like growing my social media. So I had maybe like a couple thousand followers, like nothing crazy at all, which I thought was so amazing because they didn't look at like how many followers you had, or, you know, that was like not really a factor. It was like, are you bringing value to your community? And, you know, showing our three pillars of service, or our three like pillars of their business, which is integrity, transparency, and service. So yeah, and I love their products and everything like that. And I've gotten to know a lot of amazing teammates through BPN. It's been a really amazing part of this past year was joining that team. I've had like BPN athletes on the podcast. My podcast been amazing too. Yeah, so that's what I was going to run the Austin Marathon with, was the team.
That's what I was going to ask. Now it's all coming together now.
Yeah, but it it didn't work out. But hopefully later this fall we'll get down to Austin. So
BPN,
that's what
I'm a huge fan of their products. I came across Nick's channel when I started training for a marathon. And I think he was transitioning into like Ironman. And then I tried out some of their product. They got legit good supplements, 10 times better than what's on the market. I think as far as taste and quality, it's really good. Mm-hmm. So they got a good thing going.
Yeah. I'm so happy to hear that you love it. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I use their products every single day. Even if I wasn't an ambassador, I would still use their products every day. So yeah, I just do my best to kind of like show what I'm using and to explain like why I'm using it. Just so people can, you know, see what, you know, a day in my life might look like. But yeah, I use their stuff all the time, and so happy to hear that you like it as well. That's awesome.
Yeah, they got a big cult following. It's becoming, it seems like every person on Instagram now, their bio says BPN team ambassador, and I'm like, gosh, they're just growing.
Yeah. In this past year, they've grown a lot. Their ambassador and athlete program is booming. So yeah, which is exciting. We love it. We want you know, more awesome people on the team. So yeah, definitely.
Okay, who's your dream guest to have on your podcast? I'm talking about dream, not reachable right now. Who's your dream person?
My dream person.
I like she's in the dream stance.
Yeah, she's like, oh, just give it to me.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it.
Let's do three.
You can do your top.
You do three. Okay. There you go. Make it easy.
Okay. So one would be, I'm really inspired by Jocko Willink.
Yeah.
He's a podcaster himself, and he teaches so much about leadership. Of course, we all do it, you know, everyone does it differently. But I love how much he like just teaches about personal leadership, team leadership, taking ownership of your team. I think that that's so important. I see so many people that are in leadership roles, and you know, and we see it in the military too. Like, don't ever get confused and think like, you know, all veterans are perfect or anything, but like people, you know, they take credit and they pass blame. And I think Jocko talks like that is the opposite of what a leader does. You know, you take the blame and you pass the credit. And I think that's just really inspiring. And I love that he's out here spreading that message. So I'd love to interview Jocko. Also, I'd just love to interview, I've had some really amazing leaders that have influenced me personally. Like when I was a lieutenant from like back in the States, that just like had a really remarkable impact in my career. And I'd love to interview them someday, just because I would love to learn more about them, learn more about their story, and just let them tell their story. Just because I think it's, you know, even like the common person, I mean, I don't think these people are common. I think they're remarkable, but maybe to them, you know, they're just like, oh, I'm just, you know, an Army officer, but I just want them to know that they had a really big impact on my life and my career. So I would say like Jocko, and then like a couple, maybe 2 or 3 people back home that I'd love to get on the show someday.
Awesome. Well, Natalie, it's been a pleasure talking to you. So how can people find you on social media?
Oh, thank you so much, guys. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you, and we'll have to get you guys on my podcast sometime soon here coming up. So Definitely. I'd love to have you. But yeah, so I'm fittolead.inc on Instagram. Fit to Lead pod is the name of the podcast as well. So on Instagram, I just post, like I said, like I'm all about fitness and leadership. And really it's because I think fitness is kind of like the building block of leadership. You got to take care of yourself first if you're going to lead a team. So that's how I look at it. So I try to just, give tips on like, dispelling like fitness myths, and also just sharing my story as a captain, a female captain in the Army, and things that I've learned along the way. And so yeah, at fittolead.inc on Instagram, and then the podcast, which we've talked about, is Fit to Lead. But yeah, so that's where people can find me.
You're on Spotify, Apple, all the platforms.
Yep. I'm on all of them. So
right, awesome.
Gosh.
I appreciate it, Natalie. It was fun, and I hope to talk to you again.
Yeah, thank you guys. Such a pleasure talking to you. We'll talk soon.
All right, bye. All right.